we want to invite you into day five. JB is here. Welcome back, JB. I know you are off site. You're at an event in Nashville, so I'm excited for that. Hopefully you're getting get to meet some of the customers in person as well. But today our focus is figuring out an ascension model, right? We always talk about the ladder that most customers have to kind of climb in our ecosystem. But before we go into any of the nitty-gritty and sharing some of the strategies of how to essentially elevate and create a bigger offer for your customers, we all want you to know that results may vary. Obviously, we're not implying that you're going to make any financial gain of any kind. There's a lot of hard work behind all these things that we're teaching and sharing. JB and I are both previous agency owners of the past. We work with our customer base quite hands-on to kind of understand what strategies work and doesn't in the world of marketing. So welcome in today. It's day five. We're talking about ascension. We're talking about basically upgrading your customers into bigger tickets. JB, welcome back, man.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. It's a pleasure to have you join us here. Fun fact for the audience here, our friend here, Paulson's birthday is over the weekend. So if you haven't had a chance, let's kick off today's
Oh man.
engagement by throwing a happy birthday, early happy birthday to Paulson. I'm sure we'll blow him up on Sunday on the official day, but go ahead and throw in the chat happy birthday if you're tuning in live. And you could also throw in there where you're tuning in from. So it's always cool to see that you get birthday wishes from all over the world. Not everybody gets to do that. So, good morning, everybody here. I actually, it's pretty cool. I'm here, 45 days in this amazing experience of high level, the community, the staff, the team. And I have a chance to be in Nashville, Tennessee with the Hydra Council, an amazing group of folks. But I mention that because the community is so important. And as I'm meeting everybody here, everybody that's at this event has high level or is about to have high level, and they all speak with it with energy and confidence, and it bridges the gap. What I learned just there for a few minutes is, because you have high level, because I'm aware of high level and I work at high level, like we know each other already, even though we just met. It's just like that unspoken word. So I hope you get to experience that if you have not yet in our Facebook group, in our main official community, high level official community group, and any of our groups that we have, or even other groups of people that have high level as well. Put yourself out there, make a friend, and you'll see how far you get along with it. But without further ado, I want to touch on a few things that we went over in the week because every day we have new people jumping in. If you're new to our group here, our live today, type in new. That either means you just joined on a little bit yesterday or for the first time today, but you didn't get to join every day. Type in new so we get a feel of maybe how much we have to go back and forth and get you those recordings and get you caught up to speed here. And if you're new and you have not officially signed up for the 5-day AI challenge, I'm going to put a link up here shortly that you'll be able to register for our next one. So you'll have like an official entry into the 5-day challenge, into the 5-day group. But if you've officially joined and you're just jumping into the curriculum, I want to set a few reminders for you before we kick off into what we have set up for today. One, you got to get into the membership section of the course because that has everything you need from A to Z, step 1, 2, all the way down to the very end on what you need to do to get yourself fully started with the AI chat offer. And then get yourself into the community. You might have to sort in the Facebook group, sort it from older content, because sometimes it goes to that recent, and start meeting the people that you might have missed because we're always getting new faces jumping and introducing themselves. And find yourself an accountability partner. No pressure. It's just another way of making a relationship to get you where you need to be. And then most importantly, consider yourself a student of high level. I'm a student, my peers are students. We're always learning. We're always learning. And it's important that you know that because with all the features, functions, the operating system like mentality that the software has, it could maybe scare you a little bit. You might be a little hesitant. So I want to make sure that we know that everyone is always learning and growing. So without further ado, I'm going to share my slides here. We're going to get into a little bit of what we've covered since the beginning. but if you've just joined in, we're going to do a recap here, and we're going to kick off. So let me just share my screen. I'm working off of one screen, and I'm sitting down. So bear with me here. I usually like to stand for these things. It's just much more easier here. Let me go share screen, and we're going to kick this off. Thank you all for tuning in, and slideshow. All right, my friends. Paulson, just if you can
Yeah,
give
we're
me
good.
a good. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Welcome to the
we're good.
5 day challenge, my friends. We went over a lot this week, and a lot is not an understatement. And what I mean a lot this week is really the live session was so much on top of what was created by Haplin and our product marketing team, to give you both ends from a structured learning environment and then a freestyle live, in the trenches experience. And we hope that both filled that gap and gave you the perspective you need to get where you want to go. So day one, we went over understanding the offer, and in that membership course section, it'll go over the operating cost and everything associated with kicking this off. And then we jumped right into setting up. And setting up, we got a lot of feedback that it was easy for some, okay for others, and really hard. So we recommend that you jump in, watch the video, but most importantly, meet our success team who can help you as needed, step by step live on Zoom. And once you get the setup day going, that starts to allow you to build the foundation with everything from day 3 through 5 that we went over, and you'll have a chance to go ahead and do that at your pace. But what we learned was when we set up, we had to now build our pipeline. Like we have to now start prospecting a little bit, and build relationships, and that's where we touched on our Dream 100. And our Dream 100 was a foundation of, let me go through my phone, let me go through my emails, let me go through my Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, my TikTok, whatever the case may be. Let me see who I can reconnect with that maybe just started a business, has had a business, or is planning to open a business, and see how I can learn what they're doing, share with my new venture of my AI executive assistant, my AI reception service, and start to get in that business owner friend conversation. And in that day 3 training, I used the example of having business owner friends. Business owner friends is pretty much where you own the business, I'm in business, we have the same pain points, we have the same struggles, I can learn from you, you can learn from me. And that's that foundation of, hey, he or she understands me, and now we're able to get into what and how we can help. And we got a little bit into that sales training. So day 3 content is very helpful from a live and an actual course material. Then we went right into fulfillment, right? So now we make these relationships. We have our beta users, that somebody that we're giving maybe at a discounted rate, or just a free to get their feedback, to get their insight. We have to now make that work. So we went over that briefly, and we showed some examples in the live session. And then the course material has more details as well. And then today is retention and ascension. So John, what does that mean? Like, I haven't got my first customer yet, or I'm close to it. Um, it's okay if you don't have your first customer yet, but you have to plan, because you're going to get the first customer very soon. I mean, you didn't put all this time into this to not get where you want to get to. So we're going to go over that today, but it's important that before we go into retention and ascension, we touch on the gateway offer for our new friends, as well as those that have been here throughout the week. Our gateway offer has everything to do with the AI chat offer, the AI feature that we've been training on, that you've been learning on. And once we get that trust and that experience going with our beta or our paying customer, we're able to then be the professional advisor that says, hey, now that I've gotten to know your business, I see some other things that maybe you may be aware of or not, but we can build upon this. And now we start getting into our expansion offers. And that's what we're going to go over today, because that beta customer can easily become a paying customer within 72 hours, within um, two conversations, whether it's on a Friday and then on a Saturday, Sunday. What you're going to find with the people that you speak with, your new business owner friends or your new business owner acquaintances, is that they're going to be communicating with you a lot because they're going to lean in on your expertise, whether it's from previous business experience or techie experience. And this is an opportunity for you to really get them where they need to be. Now, Paulson, you know, you have some unique ways from your experience on how you like to go over this as well. And I don't want our new friends to miss out on this. Do you mind maybe jumping into your perspective and your positioning
Sure.
that you've been, thousands of people that have followed your lead on this
Yeah, and you're talking about the expansion offer, right?
expansion offer, particularly?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So right out of the gate, so there's a thing in the world of marketing called churn, Churn. We know from all the data that when you lead with a SaaS offer, your churn is a lot lower versus when you lead with a services offer. So expansion offers often lean on the services, talents, and human capital that you kind of develop or have, right? Everything is dependent on your skill set. So even though you can charge a lot more, typically most clients lose their customers on average. I believe it's like over 60, 70% churn rate for the first 90 days for most average agencies that are servicing customers, right? So that's a really drastic number from what we know. And when we lead with the SaaS offer, you on average deal with 5 to 7% churn or less. So at the end of the day, even though you're selling a lower ticket with SaaS, long story short, over time, you can build a much healthier book of business because the agency game is nonstop cash cow. It's a full-on cycle of new customers coming in, losing customers, new customers coming in, losing customers. That's the experiences I've personally went through with my both my agencies. And JB probably will tell you the same thing. If you ask Chase, other guys will all tell you it's pretty easy to lose agency clients because of so many different variables. But with that being said, if you have never offered an agency service, I don't even recommend you spending time and going and learning Facebook ads and Google ads and then going and teaching. I mean, then going and servicing it. If you have never done that before, I would just leave it alone and just stick it out with the SaaS plan all the way through. And that becomes over time a healthy business in a sense, right? But if you are someone who already are providing Facebook ad services or Google ad services, maybe SEO, maybe it's video editing, whatever it is, if you already provide that, then I would say somewhere around the $1,500 to $2,500 mark of a monthly service is what we see typically in most industries, especially for a local. But you can do smaller services around the $400 or $500 mark as well. But it's up to you. I think the big thing is to remember how churn affects your book of business, right? Certain types of services in certain industries have higher churn versus lower. So you have to study that and figure out whether it's worth your time. By the end of the year, if a large amount of your clients are going to leave you, no matter what you do, you're in just nonstop cycle of this rat race of having to get more customers, having to go get more sales, having to get more prospecting. Where with the SaaS model, it's like, hey, most of your customers stay with you. That means within a year or two, you can build kind of a passive business because everything is based on the tech stack. It's not based on the talent. And I think that's the biggest key for everyone to remember is the difference of churn and different types of services. And that me or JB will not tell you to not have services. We just want you to be aware of what you're getting into as you launch expansion offers.
Thank you so much. And I want the folks that are tuned in live, wherever it is, to type in the chat action. Action. I want to see how many of you are ready to hear what I have to say after you type that in action. And I say action because in our beginner phase, right? We've been introduced to this through somebody who posted maybe a YouTube video, or in a group, or a friend, a family member, a business owner said, "Hey, man, you need to, really get in the mix. This is right up your alley." And you're consuming this information, and it's a lot, and it's great, but it's easy to just study, study, study. If you don't take action, it doesn't matter how much you consume. So, what I want to come across before we change the slide here is, how do I take action? Well, you take action by understanding the concept, which is my AI chat offer, my AI receptionist. I got to name it. Let me name it something that resonates with me, that excites me, that I'm proud of, right? Let me get that part going, and then let me share it, without being salesy, right? And there's different, passive ways and friendly ways, and you'll find your flow, and maybe you'll find that you need a little bit of sales training. You need a little bit of, little conversation training. You'll find your flow there, but just having confidence is important. The action part comes in with meeting people, attending events, visiting virtual events, calling friends and family, texting, asking questions, commenting, getting in business strategy scenarios. Then you're going to find that you're going to get excited about it. And now this graph becomes makes more sense, because now you're like, okay, of course we start here and we evolve to this because they do need that next level. So I want you to remember that action is key, and it could be small to start, but it'll build upon the foundation. And I'm excited for everyone here. I see this chat blowing up with action. Thank you. And our goal is to, whether you are a consultant planning to offer your professional services, whether you're a coach, whether you're a business owner looking to enable your staff to be better, whether you're looking to build upon a side hustle or start a new calling based on what you've experienced or what you've been wanting to do, you can fit all of this experience into what you want to do next. Because the AI functionality is not going away, and there's different opinions about AI, but just know that people are embracing it. And how could you teach them and show them so it helps them? So the AI chat offer here, in our lessons, goes a lot deeper. In our lives, goes a lot more practical. But the purpose of it is to capture organic traffic to your website. So keep in mind, you have somebody that visits your website because they saw your truck with a wrap on it, they saw your billboard, they saw your business card, they saw your flyer, they heard it through word of mouth. They're going to go to your website or your Google business profile or your social media, and they're going to engage if they want to know more or if they're just curious. So when that information, when they click on it, the chat option, the AI reception option, whatever you call it, is going to ask them questions and get them to give their information, whether it's to an appointment or to a follow back. And then the nurturing part really comes in play, where your existing customers now feel comfortable and confident to go to your website as needed instead of calling you, or if it's after hours, they know they can get the answers they need. And then obviously the closing portion of this is new customers coming in, existing customers that are looking for new services or referrals. People want to ask a question and get an answer no matter what business service you offer. And there's a live demo. If you're new here, you can go right there right now and experience it. And I recommend you do so, because this is going to let you see it in action. And then, as you get this going, you're going to get more confident and have more power and excitement to take more action. So I hope that helps bring everything kind of, from a, high level view. But in order to do any of this, you need to have an account, right? So if you haven't had a chance, or you want to pass it to someone else, or you're using an account, you can participate in this training. But we have our 5-day AI challenge link here. You can register a trial account with us. And then you could also jump into the future AI challenge that's going to be popping up. If you have an active trial now, or you're a customer, please throw it in the chat. Trial or a customer. Let us know where you're at. if you have a trial or a customer, or if you're going to sign up today, say I'm signing up today. But we love to see, who and where are you at in the journey? And our existing customers that are tuning in, thank you. We appreciate it. So let's get down to the meats and potatoes. We covered the recap. We covered all the great things that we've been going on. Now it's time to get into the agenda. So retention and ascension. For those that are new to business, software, marketing, retention is pretty much me keeping the relationship I started with you going, right? I want you to know that I care, and I show that, and we do that by me staying in contact with you. And that can be done through weekly touch points, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever it is, you need to have a structure. So one thing we're going to go over here are what are the KPIs, the key performance indicators that we need to keep our eye on and our hands on to know when is the right time to pop in, to share successes, to share advice, as well as to share room for opportunity and growth. And then we're going to go over here the ascension. And that is just another way of saying adding on additional services to help their business grow. And we're going to go over a few examples that you can recommend, but before you recommend it, you're going to have to get familiar with it. So that means you're going to have to jump into our help guide. So help guide is going to be your resource to learn as you go. Maybe jump into some of our YouTube video content or in the Facebook group and ask questions. But I really lean upon the help guide. That's going to really let you type in, let's say you type in reviews. It's going to talk about the different options and services around reviews. Let's say you type in social media in the help guide. It's going to go over a handful of social media related topics. You want to get familiar. And as we grow that confidence and that muscle memory, we're going to get more and more new clients day by day, week by week, and go from there. So let's touch on key performance indicators. Key performance indicators for the AI chat offer, for your AI receptionist, for your executive AI assistant, really has a lot to do with new contacts. So keep in mind, you're my customer, and now you say, "Hey, John, I paid you, $297, $397, $97, or I'm your beta client. I don't know if this is working. How do I know it's working?" And I'm going to tell you, let me show you. And what I'm going to show that you as my client are the new contacts. Think about having 5, 6, or 50, maybe hundreds of new contacts in your CRM, in your software, whether you're looking at it from your phone or the web version. New people are every day popping in because they're engaging with the AI chat button on the bottom right. And they're asking questions. They're leaving their name, phone number, email, and maybe they're booking appointments. Those are great examples of opportunities of new customers or KPIs for you to be like, this is working. I would have never had this before. The people that were visiting my website weren't doing anything. I didn't even know I had this many people in my website. And it's so important to keep that in mind as I'm looking at the chat here, man, we're on fire. I appreciate y'all for jumping in with your feedback. A lot of people don't know that they need that. They don't know that it's affordable and available. And that's where you come in. Another KPI here is the conversations. It's so important to use the conversation KPI to improve the training of the bot, the training of the AI assistant. So keep in mind here, let's say, we're learning that there's the same question happening over and over, and it's not really the ideal answer that should be sharing. That's an opportunity for us to coach, to assist our customer on how to give the best answer, or maybe to get clarification on what should the answer be. I mean, we have about 50 people that have come to your website and they're asking for a callback, but they're not leaving their phone number for whatever reason, or they're not answering the phone when we call. So maybe that's an opportunity to add a calendar with a callback request. So you see how we have that gap. We have visitors, we have people asking for help, a phone call in particular, but when we call back, they don't answer. So let's put the calendar request so that way they answer when we are scheduled to call them. That's a great story to tell and a great winning example because now we're not getting random callback requests, we're getting action taken. And that leads into the new appointment. So now we got new contacts, those conversations are flowing, right? Like a river, right? And now the new appointments are coming in like popcorn popping in a microwave. Pop, 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 new appointment, new appointment, new appointment, new appointment. I mean, imagine you get a phone call Friday at 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 5 p.m., 8 p.m., or midnight, and your customer saying to you, thank you. And you're like, what do you mean, thank you? Thank you. I have 50 appointments and I don't know how I'm going to attend to them all. What? You're going to be excited. That's going to build your confidence. And that's the business we're in. We're in the business of giving results. And if we can give appointments, quality conversations, and a great experience, the AI reception, the AI executive, whatever you call it, is going to serve its purpose. If you agree with me, type in the chat, agree. And if you have a question about it, throw that in the chat too, because I might be going too fast for you. I might be going too slow for you. This may be something you know already. But one thing I learned on this journey is that as marketers, professionals, owners, agencies, is that we need validation sometimes. We need to be reminded that what we're doing is the right thing and we're on the right path. Because if you're not having these conversations, you're going to think you're doing something wrong. You're going to stop doing that thing, and it's going to put you back 2 steps.
Yep.
And on that note, I want to get Paulson in the mix here because he's seen this firsthand over the years being here.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to add just a few notes to what JB is talking about in general. So it's I know we're going into the market with an AI oriented technology sales, right? Like we're going into the market with like software as the main thing. Now, while that's happening, it's important that you don't lose sight of who you are in their business. You're not supposed to be an IT person in their business, right? One of my first clients, I remember her calling me like 9 p.m. Paulson, our practices computers are not working. Can you come over? Can you help us troubleshoot? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm your marketing guy, not your IT guy. And I'm like, I barely were able to get my compact Presario to work. Okay. So real talk, like you cannot position yourself as this tech person. Although that's your biggest asset and toolbox you have, you cannot position the relationship as if you're this technology person. And the reason why that's important is you want to guide these clients from a sales and marketing perspective, right? So your key is not really just like, oh, let me set up a chat widget and get out of the way and that's it. It's like, what's happening in those conversations? Why are your conversations not converting? How come you don't have an offer there? How come your appointments are not really that friendly? Because the next appointment anybody can book is 3 days away, right?
Mhm.
How come you don't have, any like interaction that's energetic? Like, how come there are like no entertainment? How come there's no like promotional things or like, those are the types of ideas and concepts that you want to pay attention to as you kind of dig into a certain industry. It's not about the widget. It's about the experience your customers are giving their prospects, right? So if I'm working with a pizza restaurant, I need to be talking about how great the margarita pizza is and the buffalo pizza and the y'all remember at CC's they had the apple pizza. Like these are random things every business has some unique things to, right? Like that uniqueness is what you have to bring out in a chat experience. And I just want to remind everyone, marketing and sales is the thing that moves the needle, not SaaS and IT. SaaS and IT is cool and dandy. That's just one big checkbox we got to check off. I mean, I get that. But remember to stay as the marketing professional and not pivot into anything else. Because if you pivot into other things, you're not going to have a proper upsell, a proper ascension. Today, we're talking about ascension. We want to make sure they're ascending into complementary services based on the experience just creating. You don't want to sell, AI chat widget on all these things, and then all of a sudden you're selling video editing services for 5K. Of course, that's good revenue and it's not bad, but like it's not proper ascension. It's just an ascension of a revenue line, not necessarily an experience, right? So just wanted to remind everyone that think like a professional. The key of winning is the SaaS plus the marketer that's in you. It's not the SaaS by itself. Okay.
Yes, I agree. And that leads us perfect pivot here because, how can we incorporate the ascension plan into those wins? Maybe, maybe things aren't going as planned. So like let's say, there aren't a traffic, there isn't traffic going to the website. So there's no conversations being had. There aren't new contacts coming in. So now that's also an opportunity for you to position features, services to give them the benefit of getting more traffic to their website. And there's a few things to keep in mind and how they all work together. You know, One, like I mentioned before, you need to be familiar with what you're offering because although there's many, many, many marketing freelancers, professionals, organizations, low ticket, medium ticket, high ticket. I mean, there's so many people that are able to help someone get help to grow their business. You need to know how and when to apply it. And that's why I go to recommend jumping in the help guide, but also doing, picking one or two services and then really being the student of it. So let's say, for example, I have let's say I have the electrician that jumped on my beta, loved the service that I gave them, loved the rapport building we've done, trust me, and is going to pay now for the live chat for 197 a month. And they say, John, I've had this for a month. I'm not seeing anything. And I say, I was just gonna say that to you as well. Let's dig a little deeper. And I've done a marketing audit on your business, on your presence. Let's go over that. And I've done some research on how we can position based on what others are doing in your area. So in my marketing audit, I see these others in your area. Do they sound familiar? Do they look familiar? And this is what they're doing. And that electrician's going to be like, okay, well, how come I'm not doing it? And you're going to go, that's exactly why I'm asking. That's my next question. Is there any reason why you haven't started this? And he says, because I don't know. No problem. Then we're in the right conversation. This is where you now come into the social media planner, social media content curation to help them build upon their new gateway offer. And then maybe, you say, look, you don't have the website and you've been studying the high level website platform. You've been studying, or you have resources now that can help you build a website, or you just do it for free to show them or to learn as you go. Whatever the case may be, the point is putting something in place based on the experience you have. And now you have the social media and the website. Now think about this. This electrician started as a beta. They now became a 197 per month client. You've now added them as a beta or a discounted rate for the social media, for the website. And let's fast forward the conversation. Now we're at 397 per month, right? And it's not about the money. It's not about the helping. It's about the experience and the result. Because people will pay and invest for what's worth it and what's helping them. But also people will pay for the guidance and the professionalism. So let's bring both together as we're on this journey. And then as you evolve, maybe that the reviews, right? We all know that reviews are playing a big part in how businesses do business and get new customers and get additional customers and referrals. So we've studied the reputation management through the help guide because here's one thing to remember with Ascension. You can study it based on a YouTube video, a professional course. But if you don't know how it works in high level, then you are at a standstill. because you have to, at the very least, be familiar how to push the buttons and know what the result is of pushing those buttons. Because you have a full system here that can go 0 to 100 real quick. So you don't want to press the wrong button at the wrong time. And when you start building upon your knowledge and your practice and you're growing, that's when so many more solutions become available. So out of this list here, throw in the chat what you're more interested in learning a little bit more within the high level help guide. Is it social media planner? Is it websites? Is it reputation management? Go ahead and throw that in the chat there, because it's going to be important. You might find somebody that's chatting and say social media planner, social media management, and there you go. You got yourself an accountability partner. Now that person and you have that commonality of, well, let's learn this together. And that's fun, right? If you're not having fun while you're doing this, it's going to feel a little sluggish, and that's never fun. So now we've ascended with adding a new feature, 2 new features, where now we're making packages, right? So we've gone with the gateway offer. Now we're in the expansion. Now we have like 3 packages. We have, the silver, gold, platinum. We have these different packages based on either the feature, function, or the service that we're going to offer and the resources. Now, to keep those packages in order, we need to stay connected. And that retention part has everything to do with communication. Communication with your relationships is so key. And I'm not saying you need to talk and text them every day, but you should have a structure of at least once every other week, once a month, or once every other day, with just making sure, hey, how are you? Depending on what stage they're in. So if I have a brand new customer, in order to retain them, maybe I'm talking to them through text message or through email or through the phone every other day because they're excited and they want to pick my brain or they want help, right? And then before we get off that phone call, we want to make sure we're setting up that next appointment to connect again. Here's one tip. Never get off the phone with somebody without the next touch point. You'll notice very quickly that you'll have a full calendar, but you'll have an organized calendar and an organized way of doing business. Because you're going to see really quick as you're getting a bunch of betas, a bunch of new clients at whichever plan you offer, that they're going to call you and bombard you because they believe they're the only client, or they don't even think about that you're busy or have other people to serve. So you want to have structure. Throw in the chat structure. Structure is so important. In my experience, early on in sales, I suffered not having structure because I really tried to be there for everybody when they called, whenever they called, and I got bombarded because it's hard for me to say no. That's one thing that I've gotten better at, but I'm a giver and I like helping people, and I'm sure all of you are in some way as well. So let's have structure for your customer, your beta user, and for you. And then as you're doing that, you're able to give good value. I mean, think about this, my friends. We're in high level. We're on this journey at all different levels. We're learning every day. We're going to have new knowledge to give out. And maybe we start sharing that knowledge by creating our own, way of communicating through email newsletter, through maybe a small group Zoom, maybe through a small YouTube channel. And we're going to find that our customers are going to be wanting coaching. John, I got an idea. Joe, I got an idea. Jane, Lisa, I have an idea. What do you got? You have to be available for them, but you also have to be respectful of their time and yours. So you're going to learn really quick on how you start to make your information available one-to-many, and that's going to help you with the retention. Think about the products or the services you buy. They all have YouTube channels. They all have lives like this. They're all given value, and you'll have to find your way too. So, in our retention for the first 2 weeks, we touch on a couple different methods of doing so. And again, depending on your level, you'll need to learn how you can incorporate your retention activities in high level. So with our check-in phone call, in setup day 2, we show you how to create your phone system within High Level. And that phone system allows you to call from the mobile app as well as the web app. And that's so important because there's a feature within that platform to record the phone call for quality control purposes, for you to refer back to, for you to learn and to just use as depending on what size you are. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on that, but recorded phone call helps go back. And that also allows you to make it easily accessible where they're not calling your personal cell phone every day or texting you while you're out with your family or throwing you off where your phone might be off. Like give them that experience of these are our hours of operation. This is how you can contact us. And here's when we'll get back to you. Same with the check-in text. When you set up your lead connector phone system, in our platform, it's LC phone. LC phone or LC text, you'll be able to two-way text back and forth, and then it's all in their record. So if I have Mark Smith, that is my customer, where phone calls back and forth, recorded there, shows a log, text back and forth, visible there for him and I can now put notes in his customer record so I can pick up where I left off. I mean, that's the sweet spot to retention, picking up where you left off. Imagine I speak with Nikki Nicole. I see you. And, we had a great conversation. I didn't take any notes after our call. And she's like, John, don't you remember we spoke about this? And shame on me. I just hurt my retention strategy with her because she thought I was fully listening and I didn't make the notes because I had 5 other phone calls. So make sure you're living within High Level for your customers and for you. And then as you're doing the phone call, the texting, we're going to start learning and growing into our email nurture campaign. So all of you are here because you received an invite, right? You didn't, maybe you saw the live, but most of you are here because you signed up, you received the invite, right? You're receiving our content. You see value in it. You share it. Maybe you forward it. Maybe you save it, right? So you need to be able to do the same for your audience. And it doesn't necessarily have to be potential paying customers or existing customers. You can have a daycare and be using High Level. You need to communicate with those parents. You can have, a med spa. You need to be communicating with your past clients, current clients, and future prospective clients because they're coming in through your website. So email nurture campaign, you're going to go in the help guide on our website and you're going to type in email marketing or email, and you'll see a handful of related topics on email. And that's going to make the huge difference on scaling, giving you multiple hands, sharing your attention, sharing your wealth of knowledge and excitement, like we're doing right now together. You're going to have the opportunity to do so as well. Paulson, I know, we have conversations, before and after the lives on, account management and retention and customer satisfaction. And, at High Level, we have, customers that are going through different phases of their journey and we're helping them. Could you give some insight on your experience on maybe I might have missed something. Maybe there's that added,
Yeah,
oomph.
yeah,
This
for
is so
sure.
key.
So account management is its own like skill set. It's its own lane of talent. And when you're starting out, you don't need to worry too much about account management. But you do have to consider customer experience, right? Customer experience is the foundation of account management. So once you figure out what kind of experience do you want to really ultimately give your customers, then you can kind of formulate and structure your account management properly. Maybe you have an onboarding call, like we said yesterday, for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you have two check-in calls that week, right? And then you take the cadence off a little bit, maybe go into once a week, and then you go into once every 2 weeks, once every month, right? So there's like this rhythmic movement in how you set up the structure of account management. What I mean by this is like whether it's a phone call check-in, whether it's a, you know, whether it's a Zoom call, it doesn't matter about the actual medium of the call and the mechanism. It's more about the repetition of the call. But let me ask all of you that have been in the world of being a marketer, being a marketing service provider, how many of you have past trauma from client management? It's okay. I mean, I developed definitely some good old PTSD from account management on some clients that just will not leave me alone. Middle of the night, they're calling me because something's wrong with their Facebook ads. Give me a yes in the chat if you have had a hard time dealing with a lot of accounts all at the same time, or if account management is not like one of your biggest, strongest skill sets. Give me a yes in the chat if account management is like someone said major PTSD. Yeah, so I'll tell you this. Let me tell you, the first thing you have to do with account management is lean into the problem. And I know that sounds very simple, but most people run away from the big problem. Let's say, for example, you had the wrong budget that was running on an ad account, or let's say an ad account got shut down, or let's say you had the wrong social media posts going out for the wrong local business. Like, like let's just say there's an issue and the way you deal with that issue in that initial stages is what matters. A lot of people kick it down the lane, they wait it out a couple of days, and then your customers are the first ones to notice and find out, even though you were aware of it, right? So a lot of times when mistakes happen, you want to be the first ones that bring it up to your customers. You want to be the ones that lean into it and say, "Hey, listen, here's where we have a Q&A issue. Here's what we're going to do to fix this problem." And, don't repeat the same mistakes twice. If you have new mistakes, that's totally fine because you're growing. But if you repeat the same thing over and over again, that's a Q&A problem. So my ultimate guide and my ultimate recommendation to having good customer success and account management is leaning into the chaos as fast as possible and being proactive in the chaos, which is a difficult skill to develop, but over time you'll develop that. In the beginning stages, if you're only dealing with 5 or 10 customers, like you don't need to go build out account management SOPs and all these different things. Don't do that. Just focus on your customers. You'll build out those structures as you kind of grow.
I agree with you, and I think it's so important to hear that from a trusted source because there are different opinions out there. And I'll share a story with you. When I got early into sales, selling, marketing for some great companies, it was hard in the beginning, and I started with my Dream 10 that built to Dream 25, Dream 100. Then I did networking events. Then I was hosting my own networking events. And I met a lot of people. And I really quickly was able to get customers, people that know, liked, and trust me, and say, John, here's my card. Let's do it. And because I was in the early stage of it and I didn't know what I didn't know, I was excited to take the credit card. And I was excited that I was able to shake hands with somebody and I just kept it moving, right? I got them going, and then there was a team that when I worked for a company, they did the fulfillment and everything, and I just didn't know what I didn't know. The advantage you have is that you get to learn as you go, and you get to do it at your own pace. And it's not that you're just selling this for another company. You're able to have the flexibility to do the beta. And to get back to the story, when I was selling the service for $100, $300, and thousands of dollars, in my early stages, I lost relationships because I didn't know what was truly going on. I didn't stay in touch. I was so overly excited about getting new customers, and getting this, doing this event that I never followed up as I was supposed to because I didn't know 100%. And unfortunately, some of those people canceled, and then they said, "Look, I'm not your friend no more." So make sure you're pacing yourself, but you're never losing communication. You're never losing friendships and relationships because that's not just the only glue. That's being a human being. And that's why they're buying. They're trusting you. See, right now, marketing is so accessible. I can go on a website right now. I can put my credit card in. I can do ads. I can do Google. I can do Facebook. I can go to a marketplace and get going. I don't need you. You don't need me. But the difference between having you and me is our knowledge, our resources, and the software and the experiences and just being a human being. So never forget that. And it's important because you may lose a customer within 72 hours. You may gain five in 72 hours, and then a month later they might question you. As you stay up to date with the services, the products, the features, and the marketing industry and the industries you're working with, you'll have that foundation, those bumpers, that cushion. If they fall forward or backwards, you got them. And that's important to know. So I want to get into some practical because I feel like, we can speak about, these different best practices. We can talk about, our past stories and experiences. But John, okay, these are all great and dandy. How can I do retention? Right? So let's get into it. Doing retention starts with being familiar with what you have available to service your customers. So again, I refer back to this and I say it over and over like a broken record because it's how I learn every day. It's how my network of friends and business owners and colleagues learn every day is we jump into the high level support portal FAQ, the guide, breaks everything down with videos and text. This is like the instruction manual for high level, right? It's always updated, it's robust. But now, as we're learning where these buttons are on this live version of the training, we're going to be able to add on to it. So, you're my customers, and we have conversations. So I'm going to go to the contacts tab, and there's hundreds of ways of doing this for one thing you want to get done. So there's no one way. So let's say, for example, I have, let's say this is, you know, Joe here, right? Um, and I'm speaking with Joe, and I have fields that have not been yet filled in. So during my conversation, my interactions, I want to start filling this information in if I don't know it or if it's not easily accessible. So that way I have reference of what we did, what we want to do, and where we need to fill the gaps, right? So you can customize these custom fields for what you want to ask. And if it's for your own business, you can customize your own custom field for your business, right? So this part here is very magical. And then you have, obviously, like I said, the communications, the texting, the phone, all of it will be here, right? This is all in one. And then we get to this right-hand side here, my right-hand side, and this is going to give activity. Now, normally, this will share activity based on where on the website they were at last, what they clicked on. And that's when you have your website embedded on here, or your chat embedded on here. You'll be able to customize those settings. So this activity shows what's been going on for this contact. But there are two areas that are near and dear to me. That's the notes and the tasks. The notes and the tasks. Please type in the chat notes, because this is going to be something I don't want you to forget. Type in the chat notes because we're about to dive in. The notes is important. And it's important because where we left off is where we're going to continue the next time we chat. So over here, I click on the add button for the notes, and I go in and type. Had a great we spoke about A, B, C. Next steps. next steps, right? Anyone that reads this, whether it's you, your husband, your wife, your son, daughter, virtual assistant, teammate, employee, they should be able to know what happened last with this contact. That's where we're at. Click save, that stays there. This starts to build up very quickly, and it's very refreshing to see because now you're in tuned. If you have contacts with no updates, we're missing something. Don't let that happen, right? Next thing we're going to touch on is tasks. Throw in the chat tasks, right? Growing up in school and stuff, they say, if you don't write it down, or back in the day with pen paper, write it down so it sticks in the mind. Well, now we're in the typing, era here. So type it out with either your two thumbs, fingers, or if you're on a keyboard, type out tasks, because that's going to tell your brain that notes and tasks should not be forgotten. Notes and tasks should not be forgotten when retaining relationships, growing them, or meeting new people. The tasks section is so important because this is what is your next step. So, let's say we spoke about, the current status of how things were going. And in 1 week, we want to talk about getting the social media planner up and running, or we want to talk about, or we want to do a touch point on the previous status and what the new status is. So we're going to go here, touch point on social media services, is happy with what we are doing now and wants to chat about Instagram ads and management when his daughter arrives from school. Prepare a game plan for that conversation. And send calendar link, right? So I could create this as a note, but because it's a task of something I want to do, I'm putting a little bit more meat on the bone on it, so I can kind of pick up where I left off, because I got 15 betas, I got 3 paying customers, and I have a family and a job and everything in between. So I can't memorize everything. I'm with you. You could assign it based on the users in the account, but most importantly, I want to set this up for, I'll set it up for Sunday. So I'm going to put some time in, and I'm going to set this up for Sunday at 11 a.m. And I'm going to get to it because it's that important for me to do so. That way, when I speak with him, we're ready to go. And I don't have a date set because he couldn't give me a commitment when his daughter is coming back from college, but I know maybe it's end of May, early June. I'm going to send him a calendar request to do so, right? And let's say Joe calls me and he says, John, I'm available 2 p.m. I can add the calendar manually as well. So all of this section right here is really the track record of how things are going and what needs to be done. As we go into the document section, again, this is all about retention. You're able to add attachments, any notepad details. If you take a photo, you did something on Scratchpad, pen and paper, take a photo of it, you can upload it here. So important as well. And obviously, any recurring payments, any one-time payments will be here as well. So, Paulson, I know there's so many different ways that we could really jump into the jungle on this. And I know that we don't have all the time in the world and we're all at different levels here. How do we bring this, how do we sum this up before we move on with your expertise?
Yeah, so I love some of the tricks that you're sharing here on using high level for notes and tasks. Can we also, oh yeah, keep sharing actually. Can you
Okay.
go ahead and can you go ahead and go into the pipelines real quick and show the difference between the sales pipeline and the account management pipeline? Because one of the big reminders you want to set for yourself from a practical standpoint, when you have people pushed into the account management pipeline. So remember, we have the sales pipeline. So go to sales pipeline and pick a lead for a quick second. Yeah, grab which any one of them and click on it if you don't mind. Click on like the white space. Go back and click on the white space.
Oh yes.
Um,
Let me
yeah, click on the white space on one of the leads in the gaps. Yeah, click there. There you go. Now, under sales pipeline, you see where it says pipeline? Switch it to account management. Yep, onboarding. Yep. Then update it, and this is the name. What is it? What is the name of this person? Guest visitor DXMSMB. Okay, we'll just leave that alone. Go ahead and update this contact, and you'll see that um let me let me see if it went over. So go to, you know what I forgot to do was add a note. So go ahead and go back to a contact that we can identify a bit easier.
mhm.
So maybe
Oh, got it.
go
Let's
back to go to Brian Hardy. Okay, you see Brian Hardy. It's on the
there we
right
go.
side. Yeah. So click on that and add some notes on the top left corner. Click on notes. Okay, click on notes on the top
Oh,
left side.
got
Yeah,
it.
right there. And just add a note saying provided a $30 discount to Brian to get started. And remember, you're in the sales mode right now. You're because the lead is in the sales pipeline. Add that note and add a task that says send him a annual invoice because he wants to pay for all of it up front. Okay, send him an annual invoice. Yeah, that's something we don't normally do, right? So now we're adding that as a task because that's basically a request. Assign it to the account manager. So maybe if you have another person, you can assign it to somebody. But either way, just add tasks since you don't have any team members there. Add task. So mind you, right now, me as a closer or an appointment setter have added notes on an account. So exit out of this, and we can
Mhm,
still see Brian Hardy's lead here in the sales pipeline. So now once the deal is closed, click back on that white space, and I'm gonna switch Brian Hardy into account management. So click on the white space. Yeah, click on the white area of that card. Go
oh,
back.
sorry.
You good? Go back. Yeah, click there, and then change the pipeline to client onboarding. Okay. Client onboarding, which is what we're calling account management. You can name it account management later if you want. Now switch over and you see Brian Hardy there, right? Now when I click on it, click on the white space again or click on his name actually, because now I'm the account manager. I
Mhm,
I'm a new person, right? Now go to the top right corner on the notes. Go to the top
mhm,
right corner on the notes. You see the notes that was previously set by the salesperson, right? And I'm
mhm,
the account manager now having to deal with all the different interactions that was previously experienced by this customer. I understand what happened in sales, what are the interactions that happen. So when I'm dealing with the customer on a check-in level as a project manager, an account manager, whatever, to curate the relationship, I'm seeing what happened in the sales cycle. So really, what JB is sharing is a communication that happens between different roles in your agency, right? The appointment setter has to have notes for the closer. The closer have to have notes for the client success manager. The client success manager have to have notes for the account manager. What are all these differences of each one of these roles? Watch one of the workshops. We'll have plenty of ideas and concepts of how to kind of build those roles. But what I'm telling you is the communication thread across the board is what's going to really build the right reputation and the right retention for your customer. Imagine your account manager just simply saying, "Hey John, I know we set it up where you were able to make a annual payment Is that what you want us to do on the next one? Matter of fact, it seems like you're in a mode of investing into your business when it comes to marketing. We don't often see people paying annually. Imagine your account manager bringing that up because they have the notes, right? And that's kind of the key in retention. Does that help everybody? Give me a yes in the chat if you're learning like small little nuggets out of our interaction here. Hopefully, it's not confusing anybody. Yes, account management is intimidating. I get it. But that's why we get paid to do what we do to build a business, right? It's a
Yes,
relationship business.
absolutely. And you know, I mentioned this before. There's so many ways to do this, and you know, finding a partner, right, is always the goal, right? Somebody that can help you. And you know, this week I've been fortunate to have Paulson um, by my side. We're doing this where we're giving you both best of both worlds, and perspectives and experiences. Um, but I have the luxury of doing that right now. You may not, and I don't want that to discourage you. So I want to remind you that the high level support portal is there for you. And an example of that is I just typed in tasks on the top right here, and it brought me a handful of different resources around tasks. And it actually brings up what we just went over, which is internal tasks for your team, editing opportunities of those tasks, right? And you know, I'm looking back at this live view, and I saw something about pipelines, or I heard something about pipelines. Let me type in pipelines, see what that does. Okay. Step by step creating pipelines, understanding pipelines. So there's everyone's a different at learning. People need to know the why first. People want to know the how first. Bring them both together, and you got yourself your answers. And over here, you know, this step by step guide. I mean, we have find folks that have put the time and effort to keep this all updated, so that way you can do it for your customers or for your business. So never discount this. So important to learn as you go. It's not the theory you need to learn, it's the function, and then you could support it with the theory or the strategy or the opportunity. So I say this because sometimes people will fall back or fall forward hard, and then it's just a hard time getting back up and picking up where they left off. So, Paulson, we're almost at a fair amount of time here. I don't have any more particular slides to go over, but I know the
Yeah,
last day of every one you do a super Q&A, and we try to bring everything together so we can
yeah,
get everyone going. But before we jump into that, the 5-day AI group, I want to give a special shout out to all of you, because between yesterday and today, it's been very hard for me to personally get in there. Our community team, Ethan and Jordan, have been doing an amazing job responding as much as possible to you all. But the community itself, I mean, you guys have been sharing your photos, your videos, commenting, referencing the success link, referencing the help guide, jumping in and giving answers. Thank you, because that's what keeps this going. And although today's the last day of our live session, it's the first day of your education and evolution. And every day will be that next day that we pound on top of it each and every day of growing and learning. So, Paulson, if you don't mind kicking us off on our Q&A, I'll
yeah.
follow
Let's
your
do it.
lead and we'll bring this home.
Yeah, let's do it. And this is like I just noticed this happening. It looks like someone actually started getting sales, right? And there's
Oh my
if
gosh,
you
congratulations.
if you go to
George, oh my gosh.
yeah, if you go to recent media, you see all these people that are sharing and sharing and sharing of who they are,
I got
uh,
goosebumps, man.
and I've never seen. I've been doing this for a
It,
pretty long time in the world of high level. I've never seen as many people get interacted and raise their hand and say, "Yes, I want an accountability partner. I want to connect with you. I want to just kind of do this journey with you." So make sure you jump into the Facebook group. It's private. It's only for folks that are in the challenge and jumped into a high level account. And you only have 30-day access. I hate to say that, but you only have
mm,
30-day access to that private Facebook group. After that, we move everybody out into the official community, and the next class, right? Next graduating class will come in, and the next couple of thousand or whatever will jump in and kind of do the same thing all over again. So this is your opportunity to connect with fellow high levelers. Please, please take advantage of it. Even I'm in Houston, so even in Houston, we have like a 50, 60 person lunch group that we go to the Galleria and we all just simply have lunch together and connect. And we see that in so many different cities, right? There are specific high level city groups now that are popping up. We hear about it. Obviously, we don't police any of it. Somebody in the community is leading it themselves, like a local person in each one of those cities are leading it. But it's a great way to connect. So I definitely recommend you doing that. So, without any further ado, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring up the questions. JB is going to help answer these questions. I'm going to rapid fire as quick as possible. We're going to keep our questions and answers to like 3 words so we can get through as many questions as we can. And we're going to close out in about 20 minutes. So we have 20 minutes of a really big Q&A that you can take advantage of. Make sure you put the word question or Q before you jump into it. Um, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's see. Let me go ahead and pull up my phone here. For some reason, it's much, I don't know, Zuckerberg pedals a lot faster on my phone than the computer.
Back in the day, we'd have birthday punches, right? You get birthday punches. I can't punch a pulse, but I'm going to throw a curveball at you. If you've just joined in, a handful of our friends here that have been with us found out that Sunday is Paulson's birthday. So if you could throw in the chat a happy birthday from where you are at in the world,
Oh
that would be
man.
awesome. And then throw your questions in there too. And I promise you that if we don't get to all your questions today, at the very least, we'll point you in the right direction with a full Q&A recap as we start evolving. But happy birthday, Paulson, and let's
Thank
get
you,
those cues
everybody.
going.
Thank you, JB. I appreciate you doing that, man. I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the flowers. I appreciate it. Let's see. I've turned 24 now, 14 years in a row.
There you go. There you go.
Okay,
We got some
David
great
Creed.
questions. Go for it.
Yeah, David Creed's asking, how can I find a high-level city group in Reno? I'm assuming Reno, Nevada, and I would probably just search your Facebook groups in the local area, and you might be the first person there. I mean, you never know. Like, I mean, I come across multiple groups in certain cities, but the smaller cities, they may not be a group yet. So in a city area, and it could be 10, 15 people that jump in every single week or month, and they connect online first and then they meet up. So, yeah, if you don't see one, I would say post in the main official community, see if there is one by asking there. And then I'm telling you, everybody from Reno, Nevada will come out of the woodwork saying, yes, I've been searching as
Yes,
well. And then all of a sudden, you're the group leader.
we see it every time. So
All right,
cool.
cool. Okay, so Michael's asking, let's see, is AI chat supposed to be in my high level account? It's not there. So AI chat is a feature that you have to enable, which you need to go through the online course and follow the directions click by click on day 2, right, JB?
Yes. Yep. It's in your setup. And it's in the setup and it's a little detailed. So you have to go into the agency view of the account, activate it, and then you have to go into the actual account, a sub account, and then turn it on and activate it. So get into the membership course or type in the help guide chat widget
He's
conversation
he,
AI.
yeah, he's actually saying not the chat, but the demo. So JB, you had shared a website,
Mm.
AI chatbot. Is that in the online course? If it's not there, can we add it today as quick as we
I
can?
don't know if it's there for sure, but it's I'll throw it in. I'm gonna just share this here.
It
Um,
should be part of the
oh,
funnel. So if you go into the
it should.
funnels,
Yes, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah, if you go
But
to the
it.
funnels, you should see it there, and you have
Mhm.
to enable it, right?
Yep. I think Ethan and the Jordan, the community team, they're typing it in the chat. But let me just share this here while you grab that next question.
Okay, cool.
That way we.
Yeah, the demo should be. Yeah, is that
Oh,
available? So if that link right there, the website attached to that, is that available in the resources?
yes, and actually we create a website that you can edit and manage yourself, so that way you have the same demo for yourself.
Got it. So it is in the funnels or websites.
It's under websites tab, and how to get to it is in day two setup.
Got it. So you have to download it through the snapshot and it'll be there.
Yes, if you go through each
Got it.
step on day two, especially the snapshot, installing the snapshot, it'll walk you right through it.
Got it. Okay, cool. Next question. Do we keep 100% of our revenue for AI chat setup and monthly subscriptions, or do we have to pay high level anything on top of our monthly subscription?
So you have your free trial if you're on the trial. Um, Once that trial expires, it'll put you into a paid account. That paid account that you picked will be all you'll pay high level, and then you can create your packages so that way you can charge your customers for your services.
I guess the question is, do they keep 100% of the revenue that they make?
Yes, they keep 100% of the
Okay.
revenue.
Yeah. Someone says, do we search on Facebook? Yeah, I would say go on Facebook to find Facebook groups, and but there are other groups too. If you go to like Eventbrite, if you go to meetup.com, if you go to some of these chambers in bigger cities, you'll even see technology and marketing oriented groups. Let's see, can the snapshot be added to a sub account that was originally created manually? Yes, you would get the option to overwrite certain things, so you just got to be careful of what you're overwriting or not. So that's the only thing I would recommend there. Okay. Someone's asking when the chatbot schedules an appointment in the demo, it doesn't get the contacts information. How do we know who scheduled the appointment?
So there's a couple different ways to do that. So you'll need to, in the calendar function, you'll need to um, edit the fields that you want to collect that information on. So I would go help guide, type in calendar. It'll walk you through setting up the calendar for what information you want. Um, because what I'm assuming is that in the chat widget, when they went onto your website, they didn't provide anything, and that's where that is being held up. So in the chat widget section as well, you'll need to activate the information collection button. It should be under settings. You turn it on, and it'll ask for the name, phone number, email, either
Yep.
during the conversation or in it, or like as a pop up.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Someone says, since I'm new to SaaS, I'm eager to dive into an event tailored for small businesses. What suggestions do you have for me when it comes to events that I guess she could or she or he could network in? So we talked
You're
about
my
the
new best
chamber of
friend. It was my most favorite day. Day three, sales and prospecting. You can go through the lives, because the lives go a little bit more in depth on practical ways to do it, as well as day three in the course. But you have eventbrite.com, you have meetup.com, you have bni.com, latip.com, you have Google by typing in networking in your city state, and that'll show you some events. So there's so many ways to do that. That day three live will really get you what you need. But making business owner friends is where it's going to get you really quick, because people want in person. Let me stop. Go ahead. Hope that helps.
Absolutely. If I missed out on the first 4 days, where can I find replays? So we will have replays sent out via email to everyone that signed up for the 5 day challenge. But outside of that, you can find all the replays in pretty much all the social platforms. We've been live streaming all 5 days now, so you'll be able to watch it. They're all labeled as well. Um, let's see. Uh, in the reselling section, it says High Level takes $49 for resell conversation AI. What does that mean?
That is the unlimited version. So it's 2 cents per message. And this is in the help guide as well, and the course where it'll break it down. But if we go into it's 2 cents per message, then the $49 if you're gonna need unlimited messaging, you could turn that on. So you have an option.
Yep. Let's see. Can we share the group community link in the chat somewhere for the AI Facebook group? Okay, yeah, we can do that. Let me scroll back up to the other side. Um, how do I set up, how do I set this up without having and my own website? Well, we've already built out a website for you. All you have to do is slap on your logo and get going. It's completely white labeled. So that's what's
Mhm.
inside the course. It's all provided to you as a snapshot. But JB, can you share notes on that? Like, do they need a website to get going? What if the clients don't have a website? Like, what is your recommendation when you come across
Yeah,
that scenario?
there's a lot of, although a business owner or a potential client may be familiar with it, there's nothing like seeing it in action. And, being able to, let me share my screen here, being able to really, from your mobile phone, from their mobile phone on a screen share, being able to say, hey, look, let me show you how this works is so much more powerful than, hey, let me tell you how this works. Because everyone's got a different imagination and different experience. And if I just were to type in, can this work for my business? And they start to see that this thing is speaking back, um, that's where the magic really starts to happen. And my mine may not go as planned here because I'm on a little bit of a different internet speed here and I'm lagging. Um, so bear with me here, but I just got to refresh this. But if you go to this website itself, aichatbot.gohighlevel.com, you'll be able to see it for yourself live. And now you start to understand what they're going to see. So let me just actually go in incognito mode. Now, I
Yeah,
send so
but
many
but I
messages
but
and
I
I have it
think
on a limit.
but I think the idea is just, you should have a visual demonstration if possible.
Yes.
That's it. Okay. Yep. Let's see. Uh, in case if I need any help, where can I go get for help? So I think our success room is an option. Our support rooms are options. So either way, there's always like a live agent that can jump on a call with you any given time. Let's see. Someone says, does high level keep any of the upsell services that I may provide? Um, yeah, no, that's up to you. Your fee to us doesn't change outside of the subscription. We're previous agency owners of the past. So are a lot of the leaders inside of high level. So when we do a lot of these trainings, we speak in the sense as if we're in the trenches with you. So what we're telling you is how to build your own business with our past experiences and different variations of how we do things. But yeah, there's no, you can build your own revenue lines however you want and services however you want. Your fee to high level doesn't change outside of the subscription that you sign up for, which is just either 97, 297, or 497. And each one of those have different ranges of why. But yeah, you can go build a massive business. Your fee doesn't change.
I think what's also come up in the Facebook group is I see this pop up for listings, Yext listings. I see this pop up for WordPress. Um, those are additional add-on services, and it'll have when you click on it, it'll have a box in the agency view. So in the agency view, you can pick what upsell services you want to sell through our relationship with WordPress, Yext, and all these other platforms, and then you can add $5 more or $50 more. So when your beta client or your paying customer clicks on it, they get charged your price that you collect, and then you pay us the wholesale price that we've set up. And
Yeah,
that's it's under the agency view. It's important to go there to adjust that pricing.
absolutely. Raphael's asking if I want to be a reseller, how do I do that? So here's a difference between a reseller, versus a marketing service provider. A reseller is someone just goes out of the market and resells the same product. We're not asking you to go sell high level. Matter of fact, we don't need any help with that. Right? Don't go selling high level. We want you to use high level as your development arm. And we're making the recommendation that you leverage the AI chat widget because it's in high demand for local businesses and go out to the market, put a price on it, keep 100% of the revenue. That's not the same thing as reselling. That's us telling you how to be your own service provider, which is drastically different because we're not asking you to be an affiliate to high level or a reseller to high level in any way, shape, or form. In this scenario with the 5 day challenge, we're showing you how to build your own marketing services company by leveraging some of the features inside of high level, narrowing it down into one or two things, simplifying it, going into the market and so you can build your own essentially a stable book of business without a lot of churn. Does that make sense? And I was talking to Rafael Lopez when he asked that. Okay, cool. Let me see.
We have an amazing affiliate opportunity for those that are a little bit more experienced, or you have a business and you want to refer someone. You definitely visit our website for that. We have an amazing team. They do trainings, and that doesn't require you to be in the software. But like Paulson said, this is for you to create your own brand using our operating system.
Yep. Nick is asking, can a snapshot be added to a sub account that was originally created manually?
You can always add snapshots to all accounts whenever you want. You can add multiple, two hands worth, 100 hands worth. Yes. As well as you can update them as needed too. So if you create a snapshot for, let's say, dog groomers, and you want to share that with other dog groomers, you can create that and then update it so that way those that have the snapshot that you shared get those new updates as well. So
Yeah.
snapshots are like the fun stuff, but it does take a lot of time and knowledge to
Yeah.
create it the way you want.
Yeah, and it's like an automation tree. Yeah, and you
Yes.
can buy it from people, you can build it your own, you
Yes.
could download it for free, you can sell it. I mean, it's like the IP of your essential location, and that could be distributed. Um, okay, so so Jesse's asking, have you considered developing a way to superimpose the AI chat on a client's existing site to show how it would look? Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. You just have to have access to the actual account. Like that they have to give you access to to the website and you can just drop a code. It really doesn't take more than 5 minutes to install this thing, right, JB?
It's quick. And if it's a WordPress site, we actually have a plugin that does all the hard work for you. You just
Yep.
need to know how to get in the back end, and that's
Yeah.
easy as well. Login information, you're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, Jesse, to that point, if you can get the customers to a point where they're willing to let you install a AI chat widget as a demo, you more than likely should be able to close that client. If they're at that point where they're like, yeah, go ahead, install something on my website so I can see this, you're pretty far in the sales cycle, if you ask me. And that literally you should be able to transition them into like an onboarding. Let's see. Did the snapshot get updated already to include the new form? So JB, I think yesterday
Yes,
you had showed the checklist. Were you able to update that? Okay.
it's updated and pushed out.
So if I downloaded the snapshot, let's say a week ago, what do I need to do to make sure I get that update?
When I push that update, you just have to refresh your screen, and that should give you the new version. And
Okay.
for whatever reason, you might need to clear your cache, or do it again in an incognito browser. That happens
Okay.
from time to time.
Okay, awesome. So I see a lot of questions here on course access and a bunch of tech stuff. So what we're going to do is make sure we go through and comb over a lot of those to make sure you have the right resources. There's a ton of questions there. But JB, let's kind of close out. I mean, we went through 5 days worth of content, taught people how to launch a marketing agency or a marketing service of some kind into the local market. I mean, it's been an incredible couple of days, man. What are your final words, final thoughts to make sure some of our high levelers are going to be in a place of success?
Yeah, a great friend of mine shared the saying, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I share that with you all. I'm paying it forward. If it's to be, it's up to you. If you're going to want to create this side hustle, if you're going to want to add software as a service to your existing marketing agency, you need to be the student, you need to be open minded, and you need to give the commitment of learning and applying the action. If you don't put action into this, nothing is going to happen. Now, if you're not an action taker in the sense of I'm not really techie, we have a handful of high level certified administrators that have went through an intense course and a live proctor exam and have been certified. And we have a whole directory on our gohighlevel.com that you can interview them, learn their rates, and have them do it for you because you may be the visionary of your business or your new venture. We have those implementers that can help you create the actual functionality. But at the end of the day, you got to put your plan together. You got to put your ideas together and then go for it. And I see this a lot, and I've experienced it myself where I have great intent, but I get tired of it. It's just a lot. So you got to stay focused. You got to find a small network, share your story, share your dreams, share your ideas, and listen to others. And then you all start moving forward. Um, Mindset is key. And it's all key because without the mind, you don't take the action. So I hope that finds you well. It's been an amazing time. This is my first live 5-day challenge. I was an audience viewer of Paulson. Paulson and the team had inspired me to get involved in the high level ecosystem. And from behind, from the back of the room, I started making my way to the middle of the room, and then now I'm in the front of the room with you all. So
Yeah.
a true testament of, take the time, have fun, and take action. And thank you very much for you all hanging out with me and listening and going through our evolution of this new training. And I wish you all the best and happy birthday to Paulson again. You only get a
Thanks.
birthday once a year, so we're gonna run it to the end.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you, JB. We'll be in touch. If you go to gohighlevel.com/events, you will see the calendar of all the events that we run for our customers. And I promise you, next week we have an event. So take a look at it. We'll be in touch. Bye for now.
Take care.